Hello everyone, welcome to the Social Club. We thought as 2017 was drawing to a close, we'd have a little look back and pick some of the best moments, the best players, the best teams, etc. of the calendar year. Let's get stuck straight into it, gents. Are we happy to do that?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, why not?
Good. So, right, we're going to start with manager of 2017. Listen, this is total open discussion. I'm open to suggestions from any of the assembled panel. Or rather, I should say, if anyone wants to counter the obvious argument from Steve that it's going to be Pep Guardiola, please do step forward.
Well, I'll go against Pep Guardiola for a second. He's done amazing this season, but if you think back to the calendar year entirety, you know, he underperformed last year, so it can't really be him.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
That's a new bond I never thought we'd have.
Yeah, well, it's not Conte.
Yeah, it can't be. No, it can't be. I don't think it can be Guardiola. I think I'm obviously going to make the case for Antonio Conte, but I think it should be him. There's one person who is the current champion, and that is Antonio Conte. He also guided Chelsea to the cup final. All right, we lost it. We shouldn't have lost it, but we did. But we got there. And what Antonio Conte did last year to take Chelsea to champions from a team that previously finished 10th.
From the team that previously won the league.
From a team that previously won the league.
Yeah.
It deserves nothing
It's
but
a
credit.
miracle.
It's a miracle! It's a miracle!
miracle.
It's watered into wine.
But you played 50 games that year.
To go from 10th to 1st is quite an impressive feat.
Not really. You look at your wage bill and then say if it is an impressive feat.
But to be already...
Look at the wage
It's not
bill.
boring, mate. It's just
Mate,
double
you should get a job as an accountant. You love talking about numbers.
Now listen,
Spend. I do not like to.
Yeah. He's like that. He's like that.
I don't... Look, I think
You're not going to say Jurgen Klopp.
No.
You're not allowed.
No. The argument. I think the argument is. I don't buy into the whole. We were 10th. You were 10th because Mourinho totally fucked you.
Yeah.
Not because you weren't good. You were exactly. You were far too good to be 10th.
The club was in a terrible place at that time. It really was. It was a poisonous atmosphere at
No,
Stamford Bridge.
true.
The disparity between the players and the fans was appalling. It was one of the worst atmospheres at Stamford Bridge I've ever known. It was really a hateful place to go.
Though, wasn't it?
No, it was more than that. Hiddink came in. It wasn't good. It really wasn't a happy place to be. All of a sudden, this one man came in, this diminutive little Italian lad, turns up, changes the whole thing. The whole like reason of the club changed. The whole philosophy of the club changed. Everybody was suddenly on the same page. The players were playing like they really cared, and the fans reacted accordingly. What he did there shouldn't be underestimated.
Listen, I think look, the achievement's fine, but what I'm trying to say is that I don't take that as like, oh, look at him taking plucky underdog Chelsea from 10th.
It's not a Leicester. I appreciate it's not a Leicester, but we still went from 10th and clueless. Our highlight of that season was, well, actually, it was probably beating Tottenham, but stopping Tottenham winning the league. But apart from that, there wasn't really a highlight.
I mean, more or less lost by then anyway, but
I did well there.
So
And you could turn around,
It
using the
was
same
pretty
argument, you could turn around and say that he's massively underachieved so far this season as well.
I would agree. I don't know if he's underachieved.
Well.
It hasn't been good, but
Look, here's the thing, though. Look, winning the Premier League title and then getting out top of your Champions League group as well. You know, second.
But I think the way to look at it, we're still in the League Cup. We're still in the Champions League, and we're gonna, we're not going to win the league, but we're going to make the Champions League spots. Combine that with the fact that we got to the FA Cup final and we won the league. It's not a bad calendar year.
No, I think it's an interesting show.
I mean, I'm not even wholly convinced this Guardiola. I was myself as well from a City fan's perspective. But then, since we obviously started off very well the season before, but then from the turn of the calendar year, I think we went unbeaten from April in general after losing the semi-final to Arsenal in the FA Cup, and after that, then obviously we won 20 games in a row, then broke the Premier League win consecutive record, and obviously topped our group and all that kind of stuff, and new goal scoring records. But there isn't trophies there in that window, so I think it was very. I would say he's a shoo-in maybe to be next year.
Yeah, exactly.
He did say a lot of good stuff there, though.
There was a lot of
There's a lot of good stuff.
But then
you could say Jose's won 2 trophies at United.
Well, this is the man I was going to come on to
next. But then
next.
again, they should have been finishing where they finished.
But Jose Mourinho again. Look, he's put silverware in the cabinet, hasn't he? You know, he's got up there. He's won the league cup. He's won the Europa League, and they're the competitions that you're in.
But I think by even Mourinho's own admission, actually probably not Mourinho's own admission, but your United fans' admission, who wasn't like crazy, they would probably say that it wasn't Mourinho. They would probably acknowledge that it isn't Mourinho.
So it's Sean Dyche then?
Don't you think?
Well, no. Look, I want to mention Sean Dyche. He's on my list here, but I don't think we gloss over the Jose Mourinho stuff because, like I say, I think, look, I would argue that you know, because Liverpool were in those same 2 finals the season before, and we had Man City in the League Cup final, and we got Sevilla in the final. And then they had Southampton, albeit the Southampton that knocked us out to get there, and then that young Ajax team in the final as well. That it was a slightly easier route to doing it, but they still did it. You know, he's still gone there.
I'm not sure.
Man United, sorry, Steve, Man United are in that tipping point now where you can go a long time without trophies if you don't get get back into winning trophies. So I think he defo deserves commending. Maybe not manager of the year.
The thing I would struggle to do is say a manager of the year that finishes United in 5th. I can say anyone that takes United 5th can win manager of a calendar year, personally. I think United are too good to be. I think that's just the massive flat mark against that as a candidate. Yeah. And also at the same time, you can turn around and say Guardiola didn't win any trophies this year.
But to be fair, to be fair to Mourinho, they finished 5th or 6th, because they were prioritising. Exactly, they prioritised the Europa League as their route into it.
They got it because they weren't doing well enough in the league in the first place.
We'll never know. But the point is that they saw the best way to expend their energy.
And also, a lot of the time when they were dropping points towards the end of last season, they wouldn't have won those points anyway. Like, a lot of the one that is often mentioned, they're like, we went to Tottenham, we took our foot off the gas. Tottenham would have spanked them anyway. It was the last game at White Hart Lane. They weren't going to get any points that day anyway. Mourinho, I think winning any trophy is always a beautiful thing, and I don't like people who play trophies down.
Mm-hmm.
But
Conte more so than Mourinho for me.
Conte, I don't think that you can compare the two.
So the easiest thing, or not the easiest, the most obvious thing is to go for those managers around the top of the league. They won trophies and but they should be. Guardiola should be winning this league. Mourinho should be winning the league. Klopp, Poch, we should all be exactly where we're supposed to be. We're not necessarily overachieving. I think you've got to look at, just for a little bit of, just to refresh this slightly, is look at Dyche. What he's done at Burnley and Marco Silva. He's done incredible things to turn an absolutely broken football club. You talked about Chelsea and what Conte did to galvanise them. Silva did wonders at Hull. He started getting results for a team that was just in bits.
They went down, but Merson thinks it's a mark against them because he got them relegated. Not bad.
Right, so you got that, and then with Watford, he's got them into the top 8 or 9 in a club that was kind of transitioning. Didn't have any kind of real identity. And if he sticks with them and they play decent,
I don't think Marco Silva deserves any credit whatsoever because he was prepared to walk out of Watford after 11 games in the season.
I understand,
but look,
you don't know.
I wouldn't say it if it was total bollocks that you smoke and mirrors and all that kind of. He was prepared He was interested in joining Everton. So, compared to Sean Dyche,
but Dyche is the one though.
Ronald Koeman, surely.
But the trouble is here, if you're gonna flag the accomplishments, I'm not saying you shouldn't either, but if you're gonna flag the accomplishments at that level, do you then look at the calendar year and go, well, Rafael Benitez, he got Newcastle promoted, he's currently doing very well in the league.
Well,
But
proportionally,
you'd expect them to get promoted.
Yeah, it's Newcastle.
You'd expect them to get promoted, but you probably expect them to be fighting for their lives.
What about Wagner then? If we're going
this is what I mean. We're going to.
No, but Wagner's probably a better shout because he did incredible things with.
They weren't expected to get out that league.
They had the fifth least budget in terms of wages in the league. Did incredible things.
They have another team to fight.
Sits next to Matt.
I've heard a lot of this. But my shout is Sean Dyche.
I think Sean Dyche is a decent shout. I think, again, he's another one that I'm amazed that Everton didn't do everything in their power to try and bring him in.
He seemed willing to go as well.
To take them, they finished 16th last season, and to take them to be a competitive force, even if it dies off a little bit from time of filming to time of release, I think they're still in very, very good shape, aren't they? Is it too hipster to give Sean Dyche
It's definitely hipster.
I'd rather do that than any of the others. That's just where I am.
Yeah, because you're a tribal, as you well should be. You're a tribal football fan who doesn't want to possibly give this.
Do not dismiss my opinion
right?
As some sort of bias, like a weak, biased opinion. I'm a man of opinion and a man of substance, and I will say exactly what I mean, and it's nothing to do with bias. Sean Dyche.
But you hate Chelsea.
A fucking load Chelsea, yeah.
There we go.
I quite like Conte though. I've got to say, there's something about him. Sorry.
I don't think Guardiola would even choose himself. I think he has to win something to deserve it, and a few records don't warrant a player manager of the year thing. And even though I probably would, in my heart, would say it, my head would let someone else have it. You know, someone who's actually won something.
We've still got team of the year to pick as well.
And also, I think you can console yourself with the fact that this time next year you're sitting here, you're sitting here, and Guardiola's getting them all without.
Yeah,
him.
So is it between Dyche and Conte then?
I'd probably go for Conte personally.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll let the audience decide this one because it's, you know, this is as much your show as anyone's. Now, we give you no choice on the 11th, but by all means, vote.
There is no way that the audience would be deciding.
It's because they know.
Vote between Conte and Dyche for your manager of 2017, the calendar year, not just this season, the calendar year. Move on then. Let's shoot through player and young player if we can. Any shout for player of 2017?
Kevin De Bruyne for me.
It's Kevin De Bruyne for me. Harry Kane's a good shout though, Flav.
Yeah, he is. He just continues to impress. De Bruyne has done next level things though, and obviously as a number 9, Kane has to do one thing really and put the ball in the net. De Bruyne is more crucial that he has more responsibility in the centre of midfield.
I've got a question for you. Is it fair to go De Bruyne? I think De Bruyne has been sensational since August. But did that form carry over into the end of last season? If we're going to go calendar year.
I would say for at least 80% of this year, he's been phenomenal. I would say, as we had a little kind of a dip around, I would say January, February, and so on. But I wouldn't say that's enough to rule him out for being absolutely fantastic. He's been I'm not saying breakout player, but he's obviously the one that's kind of developed into this from what was a guy who's used as a number 10, almost out wide sometimes. Like Guardiola's kind of reinvented him to this false 8 that he's termed. In terms of someone who just plays more as a box-to-box midfielder. And you saw, I'm not sure if you watched the Manchester derby when it was on, but he was winning challenges in his own area and then bursting forward, playing beautiful through balls. It almost had like a Berbatov kind of nonchalance the way he was strolling around Old Trafford, as if he believed he was a special player on the pitch. And I think he's developing that aura and becoming a better leader. And I think De Bruyne, he does things that most people, like even David Silva can't do some of the things that he does. Even though, I just think he's special. I think
you know
he's
how much pain
special.
I'm in now? Like,
this
was our player. What's going on? We could be sitting here now, and I could be sitting here being king of the castle going, oh yeah, behind Morata, we've got Mo Salah and Kevin De Bruyne. We haven't got either.
Hazard though is a good shout as well, I think.
Hazard's a decent shout. Again, if it was, I won't put Mo Salah forward just because we're only talking about this season, and obviously he had a great season for Roma as well, to be fair. But I think a similar one that we hopefully will be looking at Salah come the end of the season. He's on track.
He carries on the way.
He's on track for 40 goals this season in all competitions. It's ridiculous.
What are you doing to me? You're both doing it to me. This is just.
Can I say something? People won't consider it because I think we will naturally gravitate towards attacking players. But David De Gea,
he's had a very good year.
He's just good, isn't he? He's
the best goalkeeper in the Premier League by a mile this season. I think he was last season as well. I think he single-handedly. I mean, look, I know that he didn't play in the cup games for United. Romero did that, but he's been winning points. The whole of 2017 he's been winning points for Man
United.
United.
If you ask most managers, they'd rather a De Bruyne or De Gea, they'd probably say a De Bruyne because they could probably get away with an 8 out of 10 goalkeeper knowing they'd be solid defensively. Whereas I don't think United, for some reason, have to rely on a 9.5 out of 10 keeper every single week, and they shouldn't have to. They're a little bit more porous than they should be.
Just one thing on De Gea is that it's kind of often goalkeepers get rated based on form, but his understanding about where he should be in that goal is like nothing I've seen from a goalkeeper before. He's so intelligent. He makes saves like they're not like wonder saves. He's just there because he understands how this ball's going to travel and the likelihood of where he needs to be in the goal, and that's something that
it should have been about 3-1 to Arsenal. He was phenomenal that day. It pains me to admit it as a City fan, but he's just a special keeper.
Absolutely. Well, so I'll tell you what, let's carry on the audience interaction thing. We'll maybe do this via poll. I'm happy for Kane, De Bruyne, and De Gea to be in there. Is there anyone else you feel we should be thrown into the mix for this?
No.
Hazard.
I don't think Hazard has had an incredible year, but not to the level of the 3 that you've mentioned.
Okay, fine. Absolutely fine with that. Do vote by clicking the eye in the corner of the screen if you want to vote for any of these things as we go through it. Young player then, I've got 2 here. They both made it into our under 23 teams if you've watched that video. Sterling and Ali.
I wouldn't have Dele Alli in there.
You wouldn't?
I rate him highly. his season so far, despite scoring 2 goals against Real Madrid.
What age are we talking here?
Well, under 23.
So hasn't been at the level where it perhaps Sterling's had, but he probably had a better end of last season than Sterling did. I rate him, and I loathe to criticise a player that young, especially because his background's been very troubled, you know, and he's got things going on with his biological parents at the moment, and you think that some of this stuff is coming out on the pitch.
I love how you said biological, so they're just parents.
Well, he's adopted.
Oh, fair enough.
And
I thought you were just like, that's how you say him.
Much of his time.
Apart from his robot parents, they are awful.
Yeah. But look, we can gauge him by what goes on the pitch, and he hasn't been anywhere near as good as he was last season. Yeah. I'd probably say Sterling. So, but then.
Sterling is this year though, isn't it? Is it this,
I disagree,
this
but
last season he wasn't all
that. I disagree. I
Really?
mean, I'm getting it up now, actually.
Yeah. I don't think Sterling was
No,
as standout as he was.
But how about Sane then?
Sane, yes, Sane, I would say averaged out, maybe been slightly better. Yeah.
So just to ask the question, how many goals and assists did Sterling get last season?
I don't know.
Well, he scored 10 goals and got 21 assists last year in all competitions.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of them were.
Now, granted, we're talking.
I think actually.
What did Dele Alli get? Do you know?
Did you get an assist for a penalty?
Come on, mate. It's fucking.
I think that's what people counted towards it. I don't know, but I'm not sure of the.
Now, again, we're talking. Again, it's tough to differentiate this because we're only talking the back end of last season, the first half of this season. But the point I'm making is that I think there's a temptation. People go, oh, Sterling was rubbish last year because the press hate him and they love it when he goes through a spell of not being very good and he had a tough time with England or whatever.
You're the only Liverpool fan I know who doesn't mind Sterling.
To be honest, this is one of those things where I get criticised sometimes, but he's actually quite sound in person, which helps.
He's meant to be alright, isn't he?
But he's. But I just think I'm gutted that we sold him because I think he's a tremendous player. Yeah. He was always going to be very good. For
Did you feel that the player that you had and that you watched on a weekly basis? Did you think that he was going to eventually be the player that he is today?
I thought, and I don't think he'll maybe get to this level, but I thought he's a generational player. He's one of them like with Fabregas or whatever, where you look at someone and you think in 10 years' time we'll be able to look back and go, this lad's done it in the Premier League from the age of 17.
We didn't appreciate him as much as we should have during it.
Because there's all those rumours of, how many kids has he got? And he's got a normal amount of kids with a normal amount of partners in real life, but it's not funny to know that. And he runs a little bit like Velma from Scooby-Doo, which is a thing. But
it's a bonus in my opinion.
Well, it's a bonus. That's you're adding value, comedy value as well as.
Also, you can run however you like when you carry the ball like that, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. And look, he's now scoring goals for fun. He's creating goals. He's continuing to create goals for fun.
Big goals as well.
Big goals.
I think he's been decisive as a time of recording. Something like he's won 5 games in the season alone individually.
Well, look at those playing from the left, playing inverted on the wing, and I know he's done a bit of both. I know Sane's
mainly on the right, I think.
Yeah, and he's done a bit from that, and he scored goals. He scored a vital goal the other week.
Southampton,
Southampton late winner in that
goal
coming in. That's classic old
young
Sterling. He used to play in the 10 for Liverpool. He's actually led the line for Liverpool as well. And he's playing a lot from the right as well. I think he's class, and there will be loads of other shouts, I'm sure. But unless we get
some more. Who else was in the under-23 team? It was obviously Dele Alli was there, Sane was there. Jesus, he had a lot of injuries, so I wouldn't say him.
Didn't play enough.
Harry Winks, I wouldn't say he's quite at the same level.
I don't think he did it last season, did he?
Well, no. This is his new. I mean, he did play and he got injured and he was decent, but this has been his most running game. And Winks will go on to be a mainstay in our midfield.
Marcus Rashford. I mean, when Zlatan Ibrahimovic got injured last year, he carried Man United through at the end of that season. Anthony Martial, shout again. I'm prepared to give it to Sterling.
Sterling's just been so good this season that he almost deserves it. He's just been so good.
Yeah, he was at least a solid 7.5 or 8 out of 10 most games last season. This season he's gone up to the level. Yeah. So his average is pretty high.
And by all means, asked everybody out there again. Yeah. But
please do proffer your suggestions for who you think the young player of 2017 should be in the comments below. We're going to wrap up on best team, though, and I think this could be a similar argument to what we've done already, because a lot of the managers we've discussed are still in place from last year. I think this is the one, though, and it does gore me a little bit to say it, not as much as it would if it was Man United, of course, but Man City, I mean, at time of filming, on calendar year points alone, if you took the Premier League table in 2017,
Tottenham fans love doing things like that.
Man City comfortably top of that.
Not winning a trophy.
Top of that league.
Yeah, we went on a massive run at the end of last season as well, and it carried on. I'm intrinsically biased, but I think we've been absolutely phenomenal this season, even to the point where it's just been well, we've broken records. You look at what we've done. We've just been a run of 14 games winning in a row. Brian Clough hasn't done that. Mourinho hasn't done that. Sir Alex Ferguson has never done that. The things that we've done this season has never been done in English football by any manager ever. Yeah. That is worth noting. I know we spent a lot of money, but that's a phenomenal stat. The reason that no one's ever done it before because it's really fucking hard to do. It really is. Really and difficult. We've just literally broke an all-time English record. It's the best start ever by any top flight club ever.
Do you know what's huge as well? In amongst that run, you've beaten Manchester United away from home, Chelsea
the champions,
away from home.
Exactly. There. It wasn't even a victory.
Massively lucky against Everton and Liverpool.
But yeah, it's just, and I think we actually started to show that form towards the end of last season. So I think if you average that in points, I think this collection of players over the course of this year would beat any collection of players.
Do you want to make a shout for any other teams lower down the league just to proffer some balance to it? No?
No, it's tough. It's tough to argue against that. I mean, by the same token, you should probably say that Guardiola is the manager as well, but just... I get all of that and I understand, but you should, shouldn't you? You spend £1 billion.
Next year, though, we'll all go to City. I mean, let's be fair. We'll all sit here and have a chat soon, and it will all be about the brilliance of Manchester City.
And I'm not even having a go at it. I'm not having a go at it. But we always, if you want to be successful in English football, you just have to spend money, and that's by and large the end.
Soriano, City's CEO, basically, he wrote a book called "The Ball Doesn't Go In by Chance," and his conclusion that book was the teams that spend the most money win the most trophies.
Always.
And he said it's always you spend like a big team and you act like a big team, and it is true.
And this has been it's in time immemorial because the Spurs in '61 spent a fortune on their side and ended up with the best team in the land. But we should have done because we put the money into it. It's football. It's a business, and you put money, you speculate, and you get the result.
David Gill was really for United, even in the early '90s. He was the first to jump in bed cleverly with the Premier League. You know, like he was the first who saw the B Sky B bus, and he was very clever with that. And money pretty much funds out every big team, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, true, but there's a reason why they say it's not about your net spend; it's about how much about your wage budget, and that's where Liverpool have always fallen short. As Liverpool might have the fourth biggest or the fifth biggest wage budget. Or they're in the top 10 in terms of world footy, but they're only ever the fourth or fifth in the Premier League.
I think like West Ham
has where you finish fourth or fifth.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, we'll give that to Man City again. If you disagree with it, please do let us know in the comments below. We've had a fantastic little spell over the Christmas festive period. I hope you have too. If you're feeling jolly still, do make sure that you subscribe to all the people present in the room, and of course to Ball Street. Don't forget, Social comes with you every single Monday, alternating between the North and the South. Get behind your favourite people, which is obviously me and Pet. And occasionally, look, you're like...
Ready? Ding dong.
You're not.
No. Ding dong merrily on high. No, it's okay. No, it's Christmas, isn't it? Have a little sing-song.
Get back, you bastard. Okay, anyway, we're going to wrap that up there. Thanks. Subscribe. See you soon. In heaven the bells are ringing.
I don't know the lyrics.